forevermore. Yeah, forevermore. Tonight is the family we're gonna be on. Yeah, yeah. Tag 10 people, we going in. Come on, help me sing. Atmosphere, hey, hey, yeah. Welcome, 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 welcome. Let's go. Sack family, what's up? All right, good night, Facebook family. Good night, YouTube family. Good night, Instagram family. All right, so go ahead and share. I know it's up late. Go ahead and share with whoever is up. I know the Instagram family is up late. Go ahead and share with at least 10 people. Let them get on. I'm going to do this one to keep on recorded because I believe it's going to be a tool to help a lot of people. What I'm about to share tonight. All right. So good night to everybody. Welcome on. And what I want to share with you tonight over and over again, I keep seeing there's a cycle that in one sense, it's like I want to help individuals to break this cycle. All right. I want to help individuals to break this cycle. And I'll explain to you what this cycle is, right? I have my phone flipped around. Hopefully you guys see. Anyways, I'll explain to you what this cycle is. What I've noticed is that, let me explain to you what the cycle is. There's so many people that I meet, and they want change. They want their life to change, especially in the area of, let's say, personal finance, right? I don't know if you know what is month to month or paycheck to paycheck. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's basically where you have a certain amount of income coming in and all the bills that is going out is almost exact. There's no wiggle room, under stress, under pressure, no money to save, sometimes not enough money at the end of the, not enough money sometimes to even pay the bills. So you end up getting in debt, or you end up having to borrow, and you have to choose what is priority. The times are tough, 2020, a lot of people experience things, and I'm doing this because I see a pattern. All right, I see a pattern. And there's so many people that need to be delivered, right? It's a cycle. Here's the cycle. They're people who are month to month, paycheck to paycheck, right? So sometimes they can't save any money. It's not that they don't have the ability to save, but they're not saving, right? Neither are they investing. So the money comes in, the money goes back out. I don't judge anybody. That's just probably where a lot of people's situation is. Now watch this. They're here and an opportunity comes up. And the opportunity sometimes requires money. Whether it's to start a small business, they can open a little store, they can sell fruits or something. Something comes up where they can probably earn some extra money, but it's going to take money. But they can't take the opportunity because we're living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, no savings, no investment. So there's nothing put aside. So they have to say no to the opportunity. And they're back to this. Now, sometimes the opportunity is an escape, a way of escape. And a lot of people may say, well, look, I don't have the money. And I want to tell you there is something that you need before you need the money for an opportunity. I spoke to a young lady today and I was very encouraged. And the reason I was very encouraged is that she was in this situation, but I discovered something in her that was very rich. And I want to say this to everybody. My dad said it, and it really hit me today, and I want to share it with you. When it comes to your future, when it comes to your vision, don't start with money. If you start with money and you don't have any money, you don't start. You say, well, look, how could I start without money and it requires money for me to start? No. My father used to say, don't start with money, start with vision. Don't start with money, start with vision. When I spoke to that young lady today, I told her she encouraged me, even though she was coming to me for an opportunity. Here's why she encouraged me. And I want to show you what is more important for you to have than for you to have money when it comes to you getting to a place to escape to get an opportunity. Here's what's more important. The first thing I want to say to you, if you are in a situation like this, is I want you to check on your attitude. Your attitude. The way you think. You see this? This is the reason many people will stay stuck. Long before you need money to invest in an opportunity, you need the right attitude. They say that attitude determines altitude. They said that there's a small difference between everyone. The small difference makes a big difference. The small difference is attitude. The big difference is whether it's positive or negative. The attitude that you have, do you see opportunities in difficulties, or do your mind see the difficulties in opportunities? If you have the right attitude with no money, you'll find the money. But even when you have the money with the wrong attitude, you still would not succeed. What is richer? What is a greater possession than money? It is the right attitude. Because it will lead to you taking advantage of opportunities. Let me tell you what will keep you in a cycle of having no options. I'm going to show you it from the scripture. It will keep you in a cycle, and this does not only apply, watch this, this does not only apply to 1 second here. This applies to anything you want to change, any way you want to grow. All right? I want you to follow me here. I'm going to keep this recorded because I want to share it with a lot of people to break this cycle. I want to show you how you have to change the way you think before anything works out for you. You have to change the way you think. As a man thinketh, so is he. Now listen to this, because this is going to help a lot of people. First Kings 17. Verse 8, the word of the Lord came to him, saying, Arise and go to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. See, I have commanded a widow there to provide for you. Listen to this. So he arose and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the city, indeed a widow was there gathering sticks. And he called to her and said, Please bring me a little water in a cup that I may drink. And as she was going to get it, he called to her and said, Please bring me a morsel of bread in your hand. So she said, As the Lord your God lives, I do not have bread, only a handful of flour in a bin, and a little oil in a jar. And see, I am gathering a couple of sticks, that I may go in and prepare it for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die. And Elijah said to her, Do not fear. Go and do as you have said, but make me a small cake from it first, and bring it to me, and afterward make some for yourself and your son. For thus says the Lord God of Israel, the bin of flour shall not be used up, nor the jar of oil run dry until the Lord sends rain on the earth. So she went away and did according to the word of Elijah, and she and he and her household ate for many days. The bin of flour was not used up, nor did the jar of oil run dry, according to the word of the Lord, which he spoke by Elijah. Now, God sends Elijah to be fed by a widow. I want you to pay attention to this. I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know who this is going to reach, but I promise you, somebody needs to hear this. He says, can you get me some water? She's on her way to get the water. And he said, as you're on your way to get the water, can you bring me a morsel of bread? Now, what she had in her hands was basically enough resources to make one little bread. And that would have been her last meal, because she said, my son and I are going to eat it and then we're going to die. So in her measurement of where she was, she could not afford to give him that bread, because if she gave him that bread, in her understanding, the little she had would have been lost. She is bounded. She's probably living month to month. She has no room to give. She has no room to lend. She has no room to sow. She has no room to invest. Everything is exact. Now, I want you to see this. The mentality of somebody who is here will not release anything from their hands, because if they release the little they have, they won't be able to survive, because right now everything is paycheck to paycheck, month to month. So if I find money out of what I already don't have to go and invest in an opportunity I will now not eat. Some bill is not going to be paid. Something is not going to be handled. I cannot afford to give, to sow, to invest. The truth is, you cannot not afford. You cannot afford to not give. Why? Because your future depends on it. Watch this. It is a breaking of a mentality of lack. It don't start with money. It starts with a mental attitude and one's ability to follow instructions. Watch this. She was okay to give water, but she was not okay to give the bread. Why? The prophet pushed the seed to a place that was uncomfortable for her. Sometimes I share opportunity with people and I say, let's say I say it's 200 US. They'll say, so much. No. 200 US is a lot to somebody who has no money. But to somebody who has savings or probably that, it might not be a lot. So the very thing to help you escape will seem like a mountain to you. Sometimes it's a matter of priorities. I heard Dave Ramsey said, if you are at this place, you should be eating beans and rice. Beans and rice. Saying, Luke, I ain't eating no beans and rice. The reason he's saying that, he said, go down to the basics and lower your expenses. Because if you lower your expense, you'll get a little $50 to save that you were putting in buying out food. If you no more cable for 3 months, you will save, how much is a cable bill? I don't know how much is a cable bill. The cable bill, how much you always pay for cable? Video not showing, now showing. How much do you pay for cable? Somebody tell me in the chat. $500? TT? $50 US? I don't know. 35? 45? 60? I don't know. No cable, Luke? You telling me beans and rice? No. What else? Not that. No gym. You're gonna be working outside. You're gonna do the stairs. No gym. You'll figure it out. What else I have to do? Basically, what he's saying is sacrifice for a little bit, so you can get a little breathing room and do it for 3 months. You'll be able to put aside something. But you can't not change and want things to change. It's a mentality. I can give you water, but I can't give you bread. Why? Because everything I earn is for me to eat. Let me say this. You have to live to give. One of the keys of abundance is learning to release seed. And when you don't have a lot, what happens is you want to hoard. You don't want to release. But the very releasing is what creates abundance. But because you don't have abundance, you don't want to release. But because if I give whatever I have, then I will have less than what I had. So let me hoard it. Let me not give. Let me not sow. Let me not give an offering. Let me not pay a tithe. Why? Because if I hold it on, then I could protect what I have. There's an irrevocable law. As long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest will never cease. No, when I met this young lady today, you know why she encouraged me? She had no money, but she had a great attitude.
Positive. Long before you need money, you need a positive outlook on life. Positive. Think possibility. Stop speaking about down and the world is I talk to people and say the world is against me. Nobody cares for me. Nobody looks after me. Nobody knows the trouble I feel. Everything is against me. Nobody is in my corner. No, you talk like that, it will create a feeling of discouragement, disappointment. You will feel flattened. You have to speak positive. You may not have the money, but you have to have a positive outlook on life. You say, well, look, how can I do that? When the reality, you have to live by faith and not by sight. You got to believe that something good can happen. I'll tell you why. When I heard this young lady's attitude, she may not have had all the money, but when I heard her attitude, I started to think how to help her. She was attracting help. And the help that I wanted to give her would have created money. Because once I saw this attitude, I said, I am going to give her an opportunity. Because people who are managers and CEOs and leaders know you're better off getting somebody who has a positive outlook, a drive in life, than somebody who does not have a positive attitude. It is better to let somebody who has a positive attitude work for you or work with you. So the moment I saw this, I got so encouraged, I started to think, how can I open up an opportunity for her which would have created money? So your money is tied up in your attitude, because the attitude could create money. But you can have all the money in the world and you cannot buy a positive attitude. I hope you're getting this. I'm not seeing my screen with those of you on Instagram, because if I flip it, you wouldn't see this. The back or the front camera. Let me make sure my Insta family is there. Are they there? Yeah, they're there. 62 of y'all, every one of y'all, hit the share button and get 10 people to come on here. This is something that I want to help some people with. Every one of you, hit the share button, 10 of them. Now, why am I telling you that the language is important? How did I know she had a positive attitude? When I heard her speak, the words that she was using, her energy, her vibration, she spoke differently. I was encouraged by her. Listen to this. Listen to the words of somebody who does not feel things are going to work out for them. Listen to a language. As the Lord your God lives, I do not have bread. I want you all to pay attention to this. People who lack positive attitude always calculates what they don't have and what is not working out first. If ever an opportunity is presented to you, and the first thing your mind is looking for is the error, the fault, what is wrong, what is the danger, what is not working out, it is not critical thinking. Your mind is skewed based on fear. You have a little bit of a case of what you call stinking thinking. The opportunist looks for opportunity in difficulty. The pessimist looks for difficulties and opportunities. They're focused. They're gifted to pick up what will be wrong, what could happen badly. It's not critical thinking. Critical thinking takes into consideration pros and cons, but they do not have a bias towards the negative. Somebody who has a positive attitude learns how to see the positive in anything. And it is not that they don't have realistic thinking, they are bent towards things working out for them. It's based on their way they think. Listen to this. I do not have any bread. That's the first thing she started with, what she did not have. 2, only a handful of flour. Only handful. A little oil in a jar. Little. And see, I'm gathering what? A couple of sticks that I may go in and prepare for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die. Listen to her language. Little, handful, only, die. I do not have. The first thing you have to change is your attitude. The second thing you have to change are your words. The words that are coming out of your mouth will keep you in a cycle without escape. To get out and go into abundance, you're going to have to start to speak differently. I know this is going to be hard for some of you because you're going to say, Luke, you do not understand. But I do understand because I have stood under lack. You want me to tell you? We did not always have provision in our family. I remember one Sunday I ate lunch at 3:30 p.m. I would always remember the time because when I attempted to eat, my stomach had nothing in it all day. It's almost like it built up acid. And when I did try to eat, my stomach pained me. Nothing to eat. One-room house. Galvanized walls, galvanized roof. The floor is leaking. Lack. No abundance. Keep hearing, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. Look, we don't have the money for that. We don't have enough. We don't have the money. I looked at all the kids being able to do what I thought was normal, regular toys. I could not. My parents didn't go to the store and get it for me. Hardworking, they just did not have enough. One shoe for church, same shoe probably used for school, same shoe to go out. Look, you don't know anything. You always your father this, your father. Yes. None of us are free until all of us are free. This is why I do what I do. Some people don't tell their stories. Too ashamed. Don't want people to know probably where they have been. I tell my stories all the time. This is my story. This is my song. Praising my Savior all the day long. I'm not ashamed. I thank God for His grace, His goodness, and His mercies. So the reason I'm telling you this, I'm not standing afar off in some type of disconnected pride, trying to tell you how to get out. I'm trying to tell you, I've been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, and you can escape a cycle of mediocrity and go into abundance long before you need money. The right attitude, the right words. You also have to have a desire. Now, let me tell you something. When you stay in a lack for too long, the lack gets inside of you. When you stay under pressure too long, it gets inside and intertwined and intervene in your philosophy and your way of thinking. The greatest danger is the osmosis of a philosophy that will put you in prison and chains. It starts on the outside of you, but it gets inside of you. Naomi lost her husband. Naomi lost her sons. Naomi assumed the hand of God is upon against me. He has dealt bitterly with me. She says, no longer call me Naomi, call me Mara. For the Lord has dealt bitter. Don't call me Naomi, which means grace. Call me Mara, which means bitter. Now the bitterness of what has occurred in her life is now in her life. The bitterness has left the situations and now it is inside of her. Exodus 14, they're trying to take the children of Israel out of Egypt. When they're getting them to go through the desert, they said, listen, where are you taking us? Were there not enough graves that you should have left us under Pharaoh's controlling leadership? At least we were getting 3 meals. Even though we were slaves, we were getting 3 meals a day. We would have had a place to die out there. Look at us in the wilderness. We won't even have graves. We would all die out here. And then Moses realized that the challenge was not getting the children of Israel out of Egypt. It was getting Egypt out of the children of Israel. When you stay in those circumstances too long, it gets inside of you. God is all. There's nothing after all. Anything that is anything is a part of all. God is omnipotent, all powerful. God is omni. He is all. If you come with a belief in that God, then if you believe in that God, then that belief should create a desire that you are not designed to live here. You're not designed to live in lack. You are not designed to live in not enough. You are not designed to live in a place where you cannot have an abundant life. You're not designed for that. That was not how God designed it. That was a matter of decisions, matter of circumstance, matter of some calamities, matter of some crisis. But you're not meant to live there for the rest of your life. You have to believe that there is a way of escape. 1 Corinthians 10. With every challenge, every sin, everything that man faces, there is a way of escape. God will provide a way of escape for you to move from not enough to more than enough. God sends a prophet to be fed by a widow. What was the prophet going to receive? The ability to trust and depend on God. What was the widow going to receive? The revelation of who God was. All things work together for good for them that love God and are called unto his purpose. When he hears her language, he does something. Now, one of the things I want you to notice, that God will always increase you through relationships. I want you to write this down. Relationships are more important than accomplishments. God will send someone. Relationships is greater than your accomplishment. When you know people, it will give you access to what they have power over. God, Jesus says, I am the door. He also says, I am the way. So a relationship is like a door. A person is like a door. They will give you access to things, but they are also a way, like a guide, a path that could take you to a place. A relationship is like a guide. It's a path. Jesus is a way, but he's also the door. A prophet comes to her, and when he hears her speak, he listens to her language, he does something. He said, I want you to go do what you were going to do, but I want to switch the order of something that you were going to do. I want you to see this. Don't miss this, guys. Is my Insta family there? I don't have you guys on. I can't see the screen. Okay, they're there. Watch this. He switches the order of what she was going to do. Here's what she said. You guys got this already? Hopefully you did. Let me take this off. She said she's going to make the bread, eat, and then die. I'm going to make the bread, eat, me and my son, and then die. That's what she said she was going to do. He said, okay, no problem. Still make the bread. Before you eat, feed me. In one sense, he was saying, before you eat, sow. Then me and my son will eat. And then in her mind, that formula would have led to death. But what it led here was to life, and life more abundantly. He introduced her to what you call principle-based living. Some of you say, look, I'm frustrated, I don't know what to do. What you need is a principle to follow that will give you a desired result or an end. Principles deliver exact results. So it's a law that you need. You don't need a handout. You need a law that if you follow it, it will deliver exactly what it promises. So anytime you want that result, you just follow the law, follow the law, follow the law, and it will give you an exact result. So what he did with her is she was accustomed taking the bread, which is seed, and she will eat all of her seed. And it would lead to what? The death of her finances. You have to sow some, save some, and spend some. In that order. Sow some, give back to God. So you say, well, look, it's 2020, hard times, pandemic. Let me ask you this. When things get hard, does God hold back his faithfulness? So you don't hold back yours. Copy God. Copy God. When you are a principle-based person, the conditions does not change your commitment to the law. The commitment to the principle. It's not when I feel like it and when I don't. You commit to the commandments of God when you feel like it and when you don't. Those are the only two times you do it. So he's introducing her to principle-based help. You sow some, you save some, and you spend some. Now, watch what this order does. The moment you sow a seed or you put it in a place where it can now multiply, the moment you take your 100% and you do so and you take 10% and you sow that 10%, that 10% starts going to work. He said, I will pour out the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you cannot contain. You just giving God 10%, but the blessings he's pouring out is more than your 100%. Why? Because there's also a protection that comes when you sow. I will rebuke the devourer on your behalf. Rebuke it. That means your 90% is protected as well. It's one thing to get provision, but if you don't have protection with your provision, it doesn't make sense. Because you could get money and put it in a pocket with holes and you're back in a cycle. Who wants provision without protection? It goes to work. So what he's trying to say to her is, you have been accustomed living without principles. I am going to introduce you to this principle. So let me say this to you. I am so proud that widow listened to the instructions, because when she listened to the instructions, she put the principle at work, and God provided more than enough. So here's what I want to say to you guys. Whoever is watching this long after in the recording, you're going to have to make a sacrifice. It's never comfortable to obey. Sometimes you have to make a sacrifice. And the first thing is, what type of attitude are you carrying? You got to train your mind to see opportunities. Train your mind to be, don't be a pessimist. Train your mind to see what if it works out? What if it goes my way? What if I increase on every side? Stop listening to the masses. The masses does not have the results that you want to keep. Stop listening to sincere opinions that are sincerely wrong. Go with what the word of God says and have the voices in your life. Multitude of counselors. There is safety. Purpose is established. So if you are at that place, you feel like a deadlock, you're going to have to make a sacrifice. The first thing you have to say, I'm going to do it. Don't say I don't have the money. Never start with money. Start with vision. Have the right attitude. Have the right language. Have the right desire. I desire to be wealthy. I desire to increase. I desire a life of abundance. I desire it. God said he will grant you the desires of your heart. Now, after you do all of that, the last thing I want to tell you is about industry. Being industrious. Have the right attitude. Speak the right words. Have a strong desire to get it done. Pay attention to who God sends into your life as far as a relationship. But you have to be industrious. You have to do the work. Spirituality is not being happy and clappy, rolling around all the things, saying all kind of things out of your mouth, and people don't understand, and you're not doing the work. People who have ambition They're hard workers, even when they don't have the money. God will open up doors for them because of how they carry themselves. Proactive, taking initiative. Don't be laid back. Don't be lazy. Don't be watching, spectating. Your life could be different, but you're going to have to change your attitude of mind. People who are encouraged by people who are industrious, hard workers. They can get the job done. They will help you. They will help you. I've seen too many people miss opportunities because they're at a deadlock month to month. The only way to get out of that deadlock, you drive down the expense and you have to do something to increase the income. But when you drive down the expense, the money that you're not spending, you have to save and save till you could now put the money into something that could multiply it, bring back a return. It is simple, you know. It's not easy, but it is simple. And you could do it if you have the mind to do it. That's all I wanted to share with you guys. She was fed for 300 days. 1,000 meals came out of that one meal she sold to that man. There are two laws there. One, if you give a glass of water to a prophet, the Bible says you receive a prophet's reward. So she gave a meal. So she received a prophet's reward. Plus, whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. The amount she gave might not have been much because she only had a handful, but the sacrifice was much. Sometimes people talk about the amount they give in. The amount is not important to God because God is all. No amount you give will impress God. It is your sacrifice that God looks at. God set the bar for giving, and it had nothing to do with money. It had to do with his son. He set the measures. Money is nothing to God. You can't buy anything with it. Everything is his. But he is impressed with sacrifice. No greater love than this. This is how God measures love. Than a man who lays down his life for a friend. That's how God measures giving. No greater love. To love is to give. For God so loved the world that he gave. So giving comes out of love. But no greater love than this. Than the man who gives up, lays down his life for his friend. That is sacrifice. I want to encourage you guys tonight, whoever is listening to this. God wants you to have an abundant life. I want you to commit tomorrow. Don't murmur and complain about what you're seeing or what you think your reality is. God is going to help you. First thing, let me correct my attitude. I have to start to see things more positively. Just make a decision. 2, I have to start to speak differently. 3, I have to have a desire to be wealthy. Don't just get frustrated at life. You have to take the energy that you're putting into being frustrated about life and take that energy and be grateful, 1, and be desirous of being in another place, an abundant overflow of God's goodness. And it is okay to do that. Don't feel guilty. 4, pay attention to who God has sent into your life as far as relationships. People are doors and their ways. Jesus says, I'm the door, and he's also the way. And lastly, you have to be industrious. You have to be a hard worker. Put your head down, get focused, get it done. Don't pray alone, have faith, but you're not putting in the work. Be a person who completes. You do it excellently, a spirit of excellence. Doors will always open for a person who is diligent. The hand of the diligent maketh rich. Seeth a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings. The hand of the diligent will rule. You have to be diligent and industrious with whatsoever you put your hands to, and it will prosper. God bless you guys. That's all I really wanted to share with you tonight. So here's the family. Hope you guys are good. It's almost midnight, right? It's almost midnight. So God bless each and every one of you, my Facebook family. Share this with, you got to share it with somebody. Put it in the hands of somebody that you believe is going to help them. Once I finish this, you share it, send it in their inbox. Just give me that little effort. Just give me that little effort. I know I am saying it. The messages pour into my inbox because God, I could go and sleep right now. I'm tired. Been working all day. But sometimes the Lord just said, Luke, go give what I've given you. Release it. I just have to obey God. I don't even have a schedule at these times, but I just obey God. All right? It's going to help somebody. So God bless you.